Welcome back. How you do, cousins? I'm old Rusty, and I'm down here at my warehouse trying to go through this gigantic lot of jewelry that I found this last week. If you saw the last video, you know what happened, but basically, I was able to buy a very large lot of some fairly valuable costume jewelry, and that's what this video is about. We're going to go through it. I'm going to maybe teach you a couple things you didn't know, and I'm hoping that maybe you'll have some answers for me as I'm sorting through and trying to learn about what I've got. We'll talk about how to sort it, how to list it, what I'm going to do, how to research. All of those things are in this video, so hopefully we'll have a good time together. Let's do this. So I finished photographing these brooches, and you can see I've got some incredible stuff here, folks. Definitely some of those Juliana D&E, as they're called, and also others in sort of the same era for sure. We're talking about Weiss. We're talking about Coro, we're talking about Kramer, just a variety of ones. Gorgeous. You can see kind of open backs on a lot of these. Some of these, it's a combination of closed backs and open backs. Rivets used in certain parts. That's one thing, Juliana, they say that there is the use of rivets, however, not a bunch. But see, this is nice. You got some of these dangly pieces here, as well as the rhinestones. And then another thing that's indicative of Juliana pieces is that the pin portion here is not a separate part that has been soldered on, but rather it is built in, as you can see, as a part of the overall piece. It's a built-in pin on the back of it. And I'm not saying that this one is for sure, but it has all the hallmarks. It has kind of the flow of the solder kind of connecting pieces. It has minimal rivet usage. It has dangly beads on the outside, and it is a built-in pin. I don't know for sure. I am going to use Google Lens on some of these to help me, but it's pretty spectacular. The look of some of these, just gorgeous. The colors on these are just absolutely fantastic. Like this, for example, very beautiful piece. Blues and greens. Again, you're seeing a combination of a built-in pin, open backs on some, solder flowing, connecting them, and just an overall well-designed piece for those of you. Now, listen, I'm in no way an authority on costume jewelry that is not signed, right? But Juliana, D&E, what is that? Damasio and Elster, something like that. I think it stands for, was a brand that was making stuff. I think between, I may be wrong on this, but 1947 to 1990. But then they had a certain models, I guess, or a type that they made that it was shortened to Juliana, or they called it Juliana because it had that name, but they weren't signed in metal on the piece. They had hang tags, right, most of which have been removed, and so it's very difficult to identify some of that stuff. So you really have to just look for certain marks and certain things, which there is a wealth of information out there on that. This is a gorgeous piece too, kind of a really deep, almost like a root beer color, folks, on that. And this is interesting. Clear, a very clear piece. You can even see, if I hold it, you can see the pin through that, the backside. It made to look like a topaz or an aquamarine stone. It is not signed, but it is a very, very attractive piece if you like the blue color. This one's similar in the way. It is not a brooch, however, it's a clip. You can see, and there's the remnants of the paper tag on the bottom of it, but it's green, like an emerald green color. With that gold, that brushed gold tone on the outside of it. Exquisite. Exquisite. Some of these others are quite beautiful as well. You can see this one here. Got some pinks, got that Aurora Borealis look. Several of them have that. And you know what's funny is that a lot of other designers have mimicked these, because I've come across pieces in here by probably at least half a dozen brands, if not more than that, including newer ones like Sarah Coventry. And there's definitely, like I said, Weiss. There's some Coro in here. There's some Kramer, Trifari. Several of these designers, you know, were kind of all in the race. They were all competition with one another, and they were all making stuff roughly at the same time period. Gorgeous stuff right here. Now I'm going to move you over here and show you what I've put together so far. Again, I'm in the process of trying to match these up, but I took a lot of time. If you look up here, you'll see I still have all this. We'll get to these in a moment, folks, but we got earring pairs, the remnants of some sets, and that's the next picture after I get this one done. Here is these sets, and I say sets. These are most likely partial sets, right, because they may have come with like a full set if they came. Now, that's what I don't know. Did it come as a full set or not? I don't know. But it could have been a bracelet, necklace, earrings, and a brooch. That would have been like a complete set if they made them. But you have basically, these are like a clearish rhinestone brooch. Very well made, well put together. And the earrings that match. And it's interesting not knowing which ones came with which, because these were all just dumped in this lot, folks. And so in this particular case, the earrings are marked as Weiss. And so that's probably what this set is. But I had a variety. In fact, if I don't even have to tell you, I can just show you. Look, we got clear rhinestone, clear rhinestone, clear rhinestone, clear, up here, clear, 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 clear. You know, so I had a lot of options to work with here. And as I'm trying to match them up, I'm having to look at the style of it, okay? Which means a lot. I've got to see what's incorporating these you know, this, whatever they call this shape here, not exactly a teardrop, but kind of like, and it's not a diamond either, but it's kind of like, anyhow, but it does have teardrop ones right here. We got small rounds, we've got baguettes, and you may or may not be familiar if you had a bunch together, but some of them will be super clear. Some of them will have a yellowish tint. Some of them will have kind of a foggy look. There's actually quite a bit of differences, actually, if you're looking at them together, that I had to account for and make sure I'm not trying to pair these up with something that they're not going to match real well. Again, we've got this one. This may be a listener. Oh, it's not marked. Well, is it marked to there? It's marked with something, I think I can see there. Let me see if I can't tell with the naked eye. I'd have to look closer, but what we're seeing here is a bunch of different Aurora Borealis. So I've matched these up. First I had to match pairs of earrings. Then I went one brooch at a time, and I looked at all of the earrings to find the matches. And some are quite obvious, like this. This is a gorgeous piece here with these pink and kind of like these speckled look on the inside. You flip it over, and very nice construction, has the built-in pin. This very well may be a Juliana piece, and if not, it's still a high-end costume jewelry. And these earrings, there's no mistaking that these go together. Now, some of these others, is old Rusty absolutely certain? No. No, I'm not. I'm not certain, but they go well enough together that I'm pretty sure. Got some nice blue here, just a flat back, kind of a brush tone there. Others, this is a beautiful red, deep red here. Lots of rivets, okay, on this one. And these I just put with it, not exactly the correct back, but the size, the shape, the hue of the color of the stones is basically an exact match. And so a person would be, I think, okay wearing those together, the earrings and the brooch. These are matching pretty well. Beautiful little piece here. Really nice color, as you can see. Nice color combinations. Light blue, greens, and blues. Very nice. And some more clear. This is an awesome piece. You can see very heavy. These are pretty high quality, you know, rhinestones, glass most likely. They're too heavy to be just plastic. You can see some of these have closed backs. The solder is flowing between them. And with the large stones, you've got the open so that the light passes right through. Very, very attractive pieces. And this sort of brings up a thought here, and I want your opinions if you're willing to give them, is what's the best way to sell these? Obviously, I can sell each of these sets individually, and I think based on the comps I'm seeing, regardless of brand, is you know, $75 to $100 if I let them sit long enough. And so the exciting thing about this lot, folks, is that when I bought this, I paid $150 for everything, which means if I were to list just these lots that I have, or these individual sets, I have about 32 of these. So if I listed these for $100 each, 32, that's $3,200 I would have for this. That's just for the sets. So that's not including these that I've shown you. It's not including these that I'm about to put in with these other portions here, and that's not including the earrings. So the more I've gotten into this, I do not think it's unreasonable to expect somewhere in the $4,000 plus range. I also haven't shown you these yet. I also haven't shown you these or these. And I certainly haven't shown you this bag or these, which are all Coro brand, and all of this. Here's the first setup of sets that have necklaces. So this is, again, simply just a brooch. It's just incredible. Look at that. A brooch with earrings, another brooch with earrings, and then this is a necklace on its own, just clear rhinestones, okay. Coming over here, we have, I believe, a Sarah Coventry set. I can't remember what it's called, but it has, you know, the necklace and the earrings attached, or not attached, but with it, rather. Here's a very beautiful kind of Aurora Borealis necklace, rhinestone here, with little earrings that go with it, as you can see. And they're also made quite well. And then moving down, I love this set right here. Very attractive. It's like this root beer kind of, or darker amber color with like very soft lime green color. Pull it up here so you can see the color a little bit better. Right there you see, it's like a triangular look. A very nice construction on the back, and the earrings are especially interesting because look at this. Again, you got this kind of interesting sort of speckledy look on the top rhinestone, and then you've got, again, incorporating a three-tone color, that darker root beer color, that really soft, almost like a mossy green, and then something a little bit in between that, almost like a yellowish, or like kind of like a, I don't know what you would call that color, like a weak tea color or something. But right here we actually have a name, Judy Lee on this. So that's another costume maker combo. Very beautiful. I love this. I'm pretty sure that this is a Czechoslovakian make. Okay, gorgeous necklace, super intricate. The earrings here, as you can see, come on now, focus for me. You can see this really cool look. They're incorporating the Aurora Borealis around that brownish kind of color. And in fact, no, it doesn't. I thought maybe it was saying on the bottom side of that, I do believe it says patent pending, or like a patent number for the clasp. And then again, another nice kind of like a bow sort of setup here for the necklace. If I can pull that out. And then these really beautiful earrings here that go with it. Just a clear, slight Aurora kind of setup, color on there. No maker on these, unfortunately, but this is the first. Whoop, I'm blocking myself. Whoa. Now I've got these set up. You can see more of these Aurora Borealis, beautiful kind of set up with really nice, this one's awesome because there's no bracelet, but the earrings and the brooch are complete. And this is a Weiss, I believe. Yes, it is. Or a Weiss. I don't know how you pronounce it exactly, but don't come to old Rusty for pronunciation tips. That's not what this channel's about. Pronunciations with Rusty. No one subscribes to that channel, folks. You can see this is a nice emerald green, and there is no maker sign. There's no one signed it. However, it's got a nice, this rivet kind of design on it. That dual tone greens, and this necklace is pretty sharp. They're incorporating some sort of Aurora Borealis stone here, offsetting the lime, that's mossy green again, and that really deep emerald green color. We've got just complete rounded cab type stones, as well as simulated facet cut rhinestones. And then this nice brushed gold leaf, literally leaves, 3-leaf design throughout it. That's a beautiful little partial set there. I really like that. This one's much older, and from another part of the world. This is a Czechoslovakian made, a really thin chain necklace with a little round tumbler type clasp at the top. Really cool. And then the bracelet goes with it, and on the back of the bracelet it does in fact say Czechoslovakia. So you've got this is a very common way of constructing things, but you can see that over time this particular set has really yellowed, and that's what I'm talking about. When you look at this and then you move over to something not that, sorry, let me go from this to that. Look how much more clean and sparkly this one looks. Now, part of it is that it's newer. Also, the types of way that they made these rhinestones is also completely different. But these are just absolutely spectacular looking. Again, this is a Weiss set here. And over here, we've got a nice set. This is the full, package deal here. We got the necklace, the earrings, and the bracelet all together in this one set. And then a couple more here of these clear rhinestone, almost like a bow again, with cool earrings. But honestly, of all of the clear rhinestone ones I have, this one is my absolute favorite. And it's because of just the style of it, okay? It's pretty simple down the strand, but then you've got, let me pull this up. This is one solid piece. Do you see this on these rings? So this right here bends at the end where it kind of fans out. And then you've got, look at this. We've got squares of like princess cut looking stones of various sizes. You've got these kind of a bunch of baguettes on the upper and lower, offset by these smaller stones. And then this is a single, look at how nicely made this piece is. It screams Art Deco to me. I'm imagining like a flapper in a dress, and then she's got these earrings, and I love, this is how I knew these went together. Look at, you've on the earrings as well, you've got roughly same type of stone sizes and shapes as the necklace, but the hallmark here is this fanning out of the elongated baguette stones. Just stunning, folks. I really think this is a cool look. Could you imagine if these were diamonds? Holy moly. But really cool. Basically my plan here is to put up the other partial sets I showed you before, and all of these brooches all in one lot. And I'm shooting for the moon here a little bit, folks. I'm probably going to throw, I don't know, $4,000 out just for these. You know what? Just to see. And see if I get any interest, any takers. And then if I can get a good amount off of this, for example, then everything up here on the table we're about to look at, not including, or also like these over here that I've discussed, we can get some good money off of those as well. The brooches that I have, that some of these came in this lot, others I have that I'm going to kind of mix in. I'm going to basically display in something like this. I've got these hard plastic kind of boxes. I like the black for things that are mostly metal, gold, or silver tone, because that's a good contrast. Otherwise, I try to use white or a lighter background, because especially for stones, let's say that have light passing through them, I want the light to hit something of like white, something lighter color, so that you can really see the hues and the colors. But something like this, I'm going to display like this. I've got a couple of these. I'll do that, and then I have a bunch of necklaces, right, and also bracelets and such that are also that kind of tone, like this, just, you know, mostly metal. I'll use the black as a background for that. But then when I get over to things like this bracelet, which is gorgeous, by the way, it just doesn't look the same on black as it does if I put it down on something like this. I'm going to put this on my lap. Now, this is not white, and the lighting in here is not great. I'm not going to actually photograph it with this kind of lighting. Come on, paper! But, like, it's much better when you can see something like this. Now, again, the lighting is not fantastic in here, but if I can get some really good lighting for this. Now, this is an unfortunate piece because you see that the plating on this has worn off and we've got rust. That's no good. Now, I'm not going to sell this individually. I'll sell this in a lot. So, and I'll just make sure that I mention in it that, like, hey, some of these pieces may be missing stones. I'm so sorry. Some of these pieces may have some wear, some rust, or corrosion. I probably won't use the word rust. I'll probably use the word corrosion, because that's really what it is. It's these metals getting, you know, just having contact with either moisture or oxygen or the air or both. But something like this, I'm going to use a lighter background rather than black. Later in the video, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you this. This is a beautiful little brooch, although look how junky and gross and corroded it looks. You can't hardly even see the shimmer of those Aurora stones on the side. And that green emerald, especially because it's an open back, should really pop, but it's cloudy on the outside. Doggone yous. So the back has got a really nice look. And it's got a built-in clasp. This very well could be a Juliana piece, although I don't know. But I need to do a little bit of scrubbing. So what I'm going to do with this, and there's, goodness, folks, I'm in no way an expert. I can't sell it like this. I don't want to use any harsh chemicals or anything like that on it. I don't even want to use soap on it, frankly. And so what I plan on doing is, and you can argue this, and I'm not saying I'm right, but this is what I'm going to do, and I've done it in the past. I'm going to take just a very soft, not a medium or hard, but a soft bristled toothbrush and a little bit of water. That's it. And I'm going to scrub on this. So I don't want to scratch it. That's why I'm using a soft. But I do want to wipe off this nastiness here. And then as soon as I'm done, because there's all these little creases and crevices and such, I wouldn't be able to get say, a paper towel or a cloth in all of that. I don't want water to stand on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a hair dryer, and I'm just going to blow dry it. I'm going to dry up the heat and the air moving over it should cause the excess water, whatever's in there, to dry fairly quickly. And there you go. So this is what it looks like right now. And then in a few minutes, I'm going to go and do that. And then later in the video, I'm going to show you what it looked like afterwards. If you have a tried and true method that you think is better, that is less likely to cause any sort of permanent damage on both on these costume pieces, please let me know. The advantage of this particular piece is there is no foil on the back side of these stones. And so I'm not concerned about cloudiness on the bottom, because if we got cloudiness, shoot, we could just do the same thing again. We could just scrub it with a soft bristle brush, dry it off, and get on the road. Okay, folks, I didn't even use water yet. I've just done it dry. Okay, now, word of warning, it's not a race, folks. You don't have to go fast. You don't want to inadvertently pop some of these stones out on accident. You can see there's still some grime. So when I get some water, hopefully that'll come off. But upon further inspection, I'm pretty certain this is a Juliana piece, and it was because I didn't notice, because I didn't look from the side. But right here, this wire that comes up and over, that's kind of a hallmark of Juliana pieces. Wire comes up and over, holding these other pieces here. Beautiful look, though, but you can see it's already in a nicer spot than it was when I started. And if I put this up to the light, you can really see that green color coming through here now. Beautiful, very beautiful piece. The downside is that it's already missing stones. It's missing 4 stones. So if I zoom in here, you'll see right here on the stem where it comes out on the end, 1, 2, then there's 2 in place, and then 3, 4. So I'm going to have to see if there's a way, right? If there's a way I can find some little Aurora pieces that I can glue into that spot. If I can complete those, this will sell for a lot more money than otherwise. So, folks, I'm going to show you, actually, if I pull this back, I'm going to reach back and grab. I always keep, sometimes, and in this, and look at this right here, this may be what I use. This may be what I use. If I have singles, like single earrings that's missing its mate or something, or other pieces of things, I will keep them simply so that I can, you see this was, I think he'd actually had his partner, but both of them were missing a big stone. You can see this is I think it's a, man, no, it's not signed. But I keep this for this exact reason. Sometimes I might need a stone or two, right? I might need, it's beautiful. Beautiful little pieces, but they don't have. And you can see, is it this one? Where is it? Maybe it's one of these. No, I thought I saw one. I don't know if this is the right size, and maybe it is not. But it would be something like this. If you have pieces that you can't really sell, because now there's certainly a market out there, folks. There are people who buy these individually for crafting purposes, but maybe this. Now, these look like they're more of the greenish, bluish tint, but I'm going to look around in my stock and see maybe I can find one to fit in here. So don't ever throw those away. If you know you're going to get more jewelry in the future, hold on to some of these pieces, because you can harvest stones, complete pieces, especially valuable pieces like Juliana D&E pieces. It's really going to be worth it to you. And here's the other thing. Now, it may make you wince to say this, but for example, like this piece, and I don't know, I mean, I got a complete set. I don't know who makes this, and I'm not saying I would use this, but if I say I found a piece that was like a Monet or Sarah Cumtree or something that's way less valuable than this, I have been known to harvest pieces out of perfectly good pieces simply to repair a more valuable one. Here's an example of some earrings. I'm not going to take these because this is gorgeous, but look, I mean, it's basically roughly the same kind. I think that these are slightly larger in size. Well, maybe not. Yeah, slightly larger. In fact, these earrings may actually match this piece. And if it did, I mean, I could probably even put these in with it. But anyhow, if I find one, I'm hoping I can just use something that I've already got. But I just use, you can use a glue, I suppose. I like to use just like a clear nail polish cover. I'll drip it in there, stick it in. It dries. It's hard. It's made for fingernails that are used a lot. Your fingers are used, so they make it so it stays on pretty well. That's what I think I'll do. Now I'm starting to go through and photograph all these different earring pairs, and I'm going to do them kind of based on color and type. So starting off here, we've got these just these elegant various motifs here, sets of clear rhinestone earrings. Most of them are silver tone with the clear, and some of these, as you can tell, are more yellowed. Others are much more clear. I love these, almost like a, and the way that they're made too is really cool. So it's a multi, so you can see it's connected on the top with the stones underneath. It's a clip-on, but it's made to have that just, it dangles and it lays over it. I think that's a very great, way of making it. The look of it's quite cool. These are pretty nice. These have a slight Aurora color to them in the middle, as you can see. It's not over the top. It's fairly understated, honestly. And then these are kind of the showstoppers, the really long dangles. But these are actually my favorite. And again, these right here that I just showed you, and then these, just because of the way that they look. You've got, it's supposed to, it actually hangs like this. You've got this teardrop section behind it, and then these 3 long lines with sort of that kind of common look at the bottom. Again, these are clip-ons. And what do we got here? Kramer of NT, it looks like it says, or something like that. But very beautiful, very beautiful. It's a Kramer set of earrings. Very nice. I'm setting these up here like this. I'm going to photograph these, and then I'm going to start putting these in just for reference here. Types like this with these cluster beads I'll be doing together, right? Cluster beads. Here's another one with kind of the same idea, that same look, the cluster beads. Here's another one, right? So I'm going to start putting these kind of all together, and then I'll get into some of the greens together, blues together, and what have you. Man, it's been a day, folks. My back is sore. I need to eat some food. So I got one lot right here, and then this, and this is all going to go in one lot together, and these are individually bagged earring pairs, brooches, bracelets, necklaces, and the like. And then over here we've still got some beautiful little bracelets, a couple of really nice kind of necklaces that I need to sort out. Okay, so we got a few more kind of cool pieces, but here's what I'm gonna show you right now is this. This is going to be its own lot. Yes, I could sell these individually, but I'm going to see what I can do with a lot. What we got here is this very beautiful pendant necklace. It's gold filled. This part is gold filled. The chain is not, but it's very old. It's missing some stones, as you can see in the center there, unfortunately. This is, I don't know what to make of this. I mean, have you ever seen anything like it? It's gorgeous. Look at all the wire work. These are all attached on the back side. Beautiful. My guess would be that it's made in another country, but I do not know for sure. It very much looks like Czech or Austrian, West Germany stuff I've seen in the past. And then look at this. This is a very cool necklace. All right, so what I did here, I did a little bit of repair work on this. This thing, my guess is it has broken maybe a number of times and has been repaired. This piece right here, which does not have an equal part that's the same size, was connected down here at the bottom on this side. So everything was irregular, right? It was not graduated correctly. And so what I did was I removed it. I reattached this so that we have the correct size. Medium sizes here, small sizes, medium sizes, small, and then all the way up. This is what they would call a graduated or a semi-graduated necklace. This didn't fit. So this broke off at one time. One of these fell off. They repaired it. That's fine. I took it off because it doesn't match. But now I have this loose piece. So I don't know if they could make it as some kind of like a charm or something. I'm not sure what. But then you've got this bottom part, which is like carved like a floral. You got this brass kind of piece here on the pendant. But the cool thing is these are not plastic. These are actually made of glass. Gorgeous piece here. They're heavy. Okay, so this is a really cool piece. All right, very cool piece. Don't know what they'll do with that. We'll see. This is not a necklace. It's just an interesting thing, obviously from roughly the same era, early 1900s. It's flat. It's all metal. On the back, you've got most likely a mold number 258. Okay. I don't know if this is meant to be glued down like onto a door or something. It is not a knocker. I don't really know what that's for, but it was in with the jewelry. I'm going to throw it in with everything else. Next up, we got this necklace, also gorgeous. Got these kind of Aurora crystal type stones on this chain. Some corrosion occurring there, but you come down. The bottom of this pendant is just spectacular here. We got these interestingly cut looking stones here. I've never seen ones like it. Other random stones kind of put in here. The dangle part with faux pearls, and then these same type of etched kind of cut stones at the bottom. Just gorgeous. Also, my guess is it's a Czech piece. Okay. And then, last but certainly not least, is this lovely little lady. We got this gorgeous little pendant, etched glass in the middle there. Other colors, we've got light purple, we've got green, we've got kind of a ruby color, and then you've got various parts of enamel paint all over this. Really nice. Go into an interesting looking chain here, into these etched glass crystal, or crystal kind of etched beads there. You can look at the back of this. Really a unique piece. And so someone who enjoys these style pieces from back yesteryear, decades back, costume pieces that have gone through a lot. I had to do some repair stuff on this one, still in really good piece. Man, just the colors of this is it's quite impressive. I do love blue, and the baby blue here with that gold accent, the star kind of look. This whole lot, folks, I don't know, what do you think I should list this at? I'm thinking about doing something like an auction, starting at one, two, three, four, five, at least $100 a piece. I may start at an auction at like 500. I might go as far as starting these as if they were going 150 a piece. So I'd be looking at 300, 600, 750. That might be too high as an auction, but maybe not. You let me know what you think. I'm just so excited by this lot. Well, folks, I went through and I actually found a few of these that also contain uranium glass. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this black light and we're going to shine it right on here. Peaches, hit the light. Now watch this, folks, as I roll across it. Look at that. Look at that bright. Look at this right here. Look at these right here. Do you see how bright that is? Look at these. These almost shine like blue. It's bizarre, but this is the showstopper right here, folks. Check that out. Oh my goodness. It's incredible. All right, Peaches, can you hit those lights back on for me? He's scurrying on over there. Boom. You'd never know if you didn't have a black light. I also had a few oddball pieces that I wanted to just show you because I think they're kind of cool. This right here, these are, they're, I guess, made of ceramic or porcelain, something like that, but they're painted. This is like some sort of an Asian origin, and you've got some characters on here as well. Got an interesting little clasp. It doesn't say anything. It's not made of a precious metal, but it's kind of an ornate looking clasp. It's hand tied knots in between. They do that so that these beads do not rub against one another and damage each other. And so it's a way of stringing it up. It's some kind of thread, a blue thread. This was one of the coolest things, and I think somebody in a previous video saw it. It is very odd. I've never seen one like it. But this stone, folks, it fluoresces, as you can see, kind of. It's iridescent, but that's natural. This, I believe, is a mineral called labradorite. And it's these are just stones that have been cut with like a little rock saw, and then they drilled a hole through the middle of them. Again, they've been strung up, and they have tied knots in between them to keep them from scraping or banging across each other. But this is quite heavy. If I were going to be listing this, I would say something like chunky or heavy or something like that. But yeah, the cool thing is, I believe, yes. Do you see this claw? Now the little piece right here, if I move my finger and I open up the little claw clasp like I was wanting to open it up and to take it off, right there, that little piece, you can see this little texture that actually is a mark that says 925. So this is sterling silver. Not a whole lot of sterling silver, but it is. Somebody did use silver as the metal when putting this thing together. Then we've got this over here, and I believe this is called malachite, and it's this green stone. They're using all these little, kind of rough, squared off type pieces for a multi-strand part of the necklace part, and then you've got this large kind of rounded pendant at the bottom. And again, it's a different type of clasp. Well, no, it isn't. It's the same type of clasp, and I think that they also, no, maybe not. Okay, so this one is not silver. And then we've got this last one here, which I believe is large chunks of agate. They're heavy, right? So they are, it is a stone, Try to zoom in here so you can see this. They're really cool. They are polished. Okay, they are polished. There's different types. You can still see this one. They just left the rough edge on it, and then you can see what the inside would look like. Really beautiful. If these were to be cut in half and polished and just have a flat surface, they'd be quite pretty. Sometimes you'll see those and people use them in jewelry. I've not seen one like this where they just used a large chunks, but here is a different type of clasp, and again, this has this is a sterling silver clasp. So what I'll do is I'm going to try to sell these as they are. If I have a hard time selling them, if nobody wants them, you know what I might do? Is I might just take them off and sell them as individual beads or a group of beads that people could do their own thing with, and then I can utilize this clasp in another piece of jewelry. Maybe I have a necklace that is broken, it needs a new clasp. I will sometimes harvest these nicer pieces like silver to replace things that have been damaged previously. And then over here we've got just sort of like a garden variety, other sort of modern looking necklaces. This is made to look like jade, though I believe it's a different type of green stone. Still pretty. We've got some, they're tarnished, but these are sterling silver ball kind of beads in between that. It has a silver clasp, and then this right here, I believe is like a, it's like a, I can't remember what the brand is. It's a costume brand. It's either Napier or something like that. Monet. What do we got here? Yeah, Napier. Okay, and you know that brand. If you go around looking for costume jewelry, I'm sure you find that kind of stuff. We got some faux pearls in here. We got another like lighter color, again, silver beads in between. But this is like it's a very light, kind of mossy, like a soft green. I really love that color, the really soft greens and the soft blues. I really like those. And then something like this, which is, it's metal. It's got some faux, crystal stones in there. This is definitely more modern, a modern look. It's got a little clasp here, and I don't remember if it actually says a brand name or not. I don't think it does, but those will probably go in. I mean, I could sell these individually. They wouldn't bring a whole lot by themselves, but I could certainly sell them as a lot if I want. I will be selling these, though, however, individually because they are unique. They're also quite different from one another, so a buyer for this is not going to be the same as a buyer for this. But all of these types of things will sell. Sometimes the more unusual and bizarre it is, the better it sells. This is also a pretty nice, I don't know what, it's just a base metal, I guess, but it's got some really cool stones in here. These are definitely not plastic based on the weight, so these are glass. They're not see-through, so they obviously have some sort of a colored foil on the bottom of them in order to, or maybe just a silver foil to reflect the light back at you as opposed to allowing the light to pass through it. But it doesn't have a maker mark on it. It doesn't have a brand, so that's a bummer. If it did, it'd probably be easier. I'll have to do Google Lens, I guess, to see if I can find something similar to it, but it's definitely a nicer piece than your typical sort of like cheaper costume bangles. Now that we've gone through a variety of these old, brooches and earrings and things like that, I have pulled out all of this that was in the bag. And so what you're looking at are a couple of things. First off, what we have is some of these are authentic, original pieces, and others are newer and are made to look like the old stuff. And what I'm talking about here is what we would call check glass or check crystal beads. So these are from Czechoslovakia, the Czech Republic. Vintage pieces like this, and the reason I know that this is vintage is that based on the way that these are constructed, and they're put together with this little bar here. And so on one side you have it kind of, these strands come together. It's a 4-strand piece. It comes out with this little portion, and on the other side you got a hook. And sometimes there's more of a length between this and where the hook is, but the hook would just like this, it hooks on here, and based on the neck, your neck size, or how long you want it to dangle down, is where you hook it, just for your comfort level. But this is an original piece. You can see that this had a little bit of metal, and you can see that there's a little bit of rust going on in this. Unfortunately, it kind of colors that a little bit, but sort of shows the age. Whereas, for example, something like this is much newer, all right, and you don't have the iridescent kind of looks on the outside of that. That comes from a heat treatment after these, if it's glass, for example, they press it down into a mold, and then they heat it up, and that gives it this kind of, you can see this iridescent, kind of this aurora borealis sort of look. But it comes in a variety of colors and types. You know, we've got some black over here, various sizes. Some of these are newer, some of these are older. And then to confuse matters even more, you've got some of these greens and reds are really beautiful. We've got one pink one here, which I quite like. I like the size of the beads, or the shape of them, and also pink is very uncommon. But what I was going to say is, to complicate things, sometimes you'll have these that are original, authentic pieces, but they have been restrung. And so you can see some of these have much newer looking, kind of like a ring in a bar. I can't remember what this type of contraption is called. There's a term for it. There's all kinds of different types of clasps, and based on the heavy time when they were used, or the patent date, you can kind of date, you'll know based on looking at a clasp if it's really old or not. But the problem is, sometimes these things break, people restring them, and so then it's difficult to ID or know how old something is. Is it newer, is it older? I'm not really sure, but I'm going to take really good photos of this stuff. I will describe it the best I can, and then the buyer's going to have to make up their own mind as whether or not they think that it's newer or older, and I'll just tell them I don't know. You know, except some of these I'm pretty confident are the real legit, you know, artifact. Others are newer. This, for example, is older, and I can tell again, this type of clasp here, where it kind of you know, it fits in there, is also very reminiscent of stuff that was made in Japan or Hong Kong. Would say Hong Kong, for example. These are not check glass, but this is an example of something like I'm talking about. You see this type of clasp here? You see this? And on the back it says Hong Kong. Sometimes they'll say, you know, Japan. For example, you've got this piece, which is also quite interesting, because you got these brownish. But look at these really cool looking beads here. These colored. These little colors. So you've got various things going on here, but you see the same type of bar here where the strands connect, and then this is the part where the hook hooks onto. But on the hook itself, in this one, of course, it has sometimes if it's branded, like if it'll say Trifari or Coro or something like Listener, it'll be on here. In this case, it just says Japan. Okay, and so this kind of dates the time period. It also tells you where it was made, and they used a lot of this same type of clasp here during the same time period that these were made. This is really cool. This piece right here kind of fluoresces in the dark, kind of like some of those other brooches. And so I don't know if it is uranium glass in there or not, but it is a glass bead, and this is also set up with a different type. You can see this is a double strand, but it's got this little barrel, almost like a tumbler barrel, that you can slide out, and that would open it, and then you can slide it back in like this, and that's how that one's attached. But we've got some cool pieces I don't know a whole lot about. These are also glass. There's a yellow swirl. These are also glass. This is kind of like a pinkish, and I don't know what you'd even call this. And then, like, this is a really pretty piece. I do believe that this is the genuine article. This is older, and I like it because not only does it have different size beads, but you've got this 3 different color pattern. You got this very light green, you got kind of a medium green, and then you've got a darker green, almost like a bluish green. It's a beautiful piece, and you know, there's a lot of work done to actually put this together with these little eyelets and hooks, and it's all going together. I like that. That is a check piece, I believe. Several of these other ones, however, these beads, you can buy them. You can buy just the beads, piece these together yourself. Some of these, I believe, were just someone's project, someone who liked to make jewelry. They got in and put these in, but the crazy thing is, some of these older pieces are mixed in here with the newer. And so, like I said, if you don't know, it's okay, but you should be aware that these can either be made of glass or crystal, and they can sell for really decent money if they are the genuine old school article. And if they're just beautiful, people will buy them. Sometimes they'll buy them to wear, sometimes they'll buy them to collect, sometimes they'll buy them and they'll just harvest the beads and make their own piece of jewelry out of it. But this is also a good example of a type of thing that you have multiple types of buyers for, and that makes it easier to sell.
Man, wasn't that a cool lot of jewelry? I'm excited. I can't wait to get selling this stuff. Thank you in advance. If anyone has some advice for me or some help about identifying some of these, we're going to get these up in the one or two of the eBay stores here real quick. Anyhow, good luck with you finding treasures this week. I hope you find something great. Hopefully you can make a buck or two. We'll see you real soon.
Let's go find some treasures. Rusty, 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 how to? Rusty, 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 how to? Rusty, Rusty.